Um, what was I going to say? I must say this week's portion was kind of like an eye-opening experience for me. But it's strange in the sense that it wasn't something it wasn't a new concept, but it's something that I'd known about for a long time already. So anyway, um, but what stood out for me was the conversation that Jethro was having with Moses. And Jethro had been observing the people standing around, listening, waiting for the case to be heard, and Moses telling them what to do. So after a while, Jethro confronts Moses, and he asks him this question. He asks, "What is this you are doing to the people?" And he didn't just ask, "What are you doing in general?" or "What are you doing to yourself?" But he was very specific, and he asked, "What are you doing to the people?" And it makes that the text states that the people were standing around and waiting all day long, and the workload was really heavy. But for me, that meant something a bit more. Moses goes on to explain his reasons as to what he was doing, but Jethro doesn't stop there. He goes on to give Moses some advice. He tells Moses this simple thing: delegate responsibilities to the people. So I think back to Israel. These people, they live most of their life in slavery. Somebody telling them what to do their whole life. And here comes God who takes them out of this scenario, and they are now in the desert with Moses. But here we have that same situation where with every little dispute they have, they run to Moses, and Moses is again telling them what to do. So for me, in my understanding, although they were not in physical Egypt, but it was most likely that they were still looking at Moses like a kind of Pharaoh, telling them what to do. So here, Jethro is basically telling them, you know what? You're really stunting the growth of the people. By you sitting there telling them, you're not giving them a chance to grow. So delegate responsibilities. When you delegate responsibilities, you're not only showing a sign of good leadership, but you're also giving the people an opportunity for them to tap into and develop those mental faculties that they were already born with, but had been dormant in them for so long. So when you give them a chance to see about their own housekeeping issues, Moses is actually giving them a chance to think, to analyze and process information. They are going to learn how to listen objectively. They will learn how to weigh their options. They are going to learn how to scrutinize the consequences, if possible, and then learn how to decide and choose. So in other words, they are going to learn how to exercise free will responsibly. This was God's objective back then, and it still is for us now. And so I think back at my own life, and I see how, I don't want to call it like a waste of my life, but the Christian background that I grew up with, the family that I grew up in, being the last of 12 children, I was just going through the motions, doing as I was told. I never had the opportunity to think for myself, never stopped to think, never stopped to challenge, never stopped to question. I just did what I was told to do because doing otherwise would constitute consequences. And so I lived the better part of my life just doing as I was told. But when I came here, more specifically at KSY, listening to our rabbi's teachings and all the other experiences that I have gone through, I am now learning that it's actually the opposite. That I shouldn't wait on God, look to God for signs and revelations and whatever before I take action. But it's actually the opposite. You put it before him, then you get up and you do what you have to do. And if perchance you go in the wrong way, God is going to direct you. It's just like our rabbi was saying. He had to make a trip, I think, from west to east, and he ended up going from east to west. And then he saw a sign along the road telling him that he was going along in the wrong direction. So for me, that's what it means. You pray, you put it before God, your ideas or whatever, then you get up, you do what you have to do, and God will do the rest. Yes. So this was my little tidbit, and I thank you for listening.